Hello and welcome to another segment of Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Jamie Johnson, the government correspondent, and today with me is Kris Boss, and he's with St. Croix County, and you are the project manager for the addition here at the courthouse.
Yep.
And I call it Courthouse. Government Center is the full term, correct?
Correct, yep.
And well, first of all, this is an addition to a building that was originally built back in 1992.
92, yep.
And now, fast forward 30 years, there was a bonding issue, and the county board passed an addition to this. What was the price tag again, if you can remind our viewers?
So the bond that was issued was $79.4 million, right around that number, in April of 2022, right around there.
Okay. And before we start our tour, tell folks, what do you do as a project manager?
So I do a lot of the communication and work with the contractors. So I'll meet with the departments or the county officials here for St. Croix County, then I'll pass that information on to the contractors to make sure that we're getting what we need as taxpayers and county workers and what we're getting at their new building.
All right. So the bonding issue was in 22, and when did we actually get shovels in the ground for this addition?
December of 2022.
Okay.
We got shovels in the ground.
So there was a lot of design and planning going on before the bonding issue was even passed.
Design started right the week after the bond issue was passed. We had contracts signed the very next day with our architects. So we had pre-planned out, but we didn't start the actual design until April.
Okay.
The day after, I guess.
And just showing folks this atrium, how does it compare to the old one?
So the old atrium, or the old entrance at the government center, was a 8-foot tall ceiling, very small, kind of dark place. Now we have all this natural light and kind of highlights us. Like, here we are at the government center. This is a government building.
All right. And of course, security is kind of the post 9/11 stuff, right?
Correct.
And but it is it prevents a lot of bottlenecks, and it gets people into the building so they're safe.
Yep, and it moves very quickly now.
Awesome. Yep. Well, let's go over to the county boardroom. Just a short walk over here. The county boardroom used to be same level, but over in the older part. And now we have different seating arrangement. We have raised platforms. Just talk a little bit about the county board and what gets done here.
So raised platform. It used to be movable chairs and kind of used for other things. Now we just have a strictly county boardroom, which is great for all of our meetings that we have as we go forward.
And so it's not just the whole county board, although there's enough seats for the entire county board and probably the corporation council.
Correct. Corporation council, county administrator, and county clerk can all sit up there.
All right. I didn't count them. So that's about 22?
Yeah, about 22, yeah.
Okay. And then, but other than the whole county board, when you have committee meetings, they could meet here as well, especially if you expected, looks like you got 40, 50 chairs set up here.
Yeah, 45, 50 chairs. Yeah, we had public protection actually this morning. So all our other county committees meet in this room as well.
Okay. So it's used multiple times every week.
Yes,
all right.
Absolutely.
Very good. Well, let's go to some of the more public-facing departments that average citizens go to do their normal annual payment of taxes
kind of
and
things.
everything. All right, let's do that.
Perfect.
All right. So, Kris, we are here at the first department, community development.
Yep.
And the community development does land and water conservation, parks, planning, and zoning.
Yep.
So this is the place where folks would get variances or apply for permits.
Correct, exactly.
Okay. And so, how many, do you know about how many employees we have here?
There are about 25-ish employees in community development right now.
Okay. And this department has an administrator that obviously then consults with county board when they're making decisions that on these permits.
Yep, and variances and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. So next to community development, we have the treasurer. And I think everyone is familiar with that, at least that owns property. This is where we're going to go and pay taxes January and July, or maybe just one time a year, but in January.
Yep.
Again, looks like we've got some pretty big windows here. It's very secure. And this is a busy place come January and July.
It absolutely is. There's definitely lines here in January and July.
Okay. Anything special in this office as compared to, say, community development where we were first at?
Nothing necessarily special, but just notice that in our old building, we didn't have much for windows or natural light. And you look into treasurers right now, and you see big windows and light. You're just trying to get light into all the employees here, and even to the public
This
here.
is a great example. And
Yep.
it just really shows there's, it's not walled off.
Right.
You still can have privacy because it's fairly good with the sound, I suppose, with the glass
Absolutely.
when it's
Yep.
closed.
Yep.
Okay. And then, so if you're not paying your taxes or getting permits, but you buy property, you got to show up here at the Register of Deeds. And again, this is an office, while it's run quite a bit on the internet, right?
Yep.
People file things online and whatnot. There is still a need for the public to come here. We've got the counter space and
Yep.
and then
The old paper copies, they have all the birth certificates and death certificates back from when St. Croix County and state of Wisconsin started. So they got to house that stuff still.
right. And anyone who's done like an abstract of their property going
Yep.
back to the 1700s,
Yep.
that's what
That's
they do here. They keep
Yep.
all of that, and now we're going into the 21st century here.
Yep.
So, all right, moving on from
Register of Deeds. Yep.
The county clerk, and again, this is the closest to the atrium because this is the place where people go for marriage licenses.
Yep. This is probably
passports.
our most visited suite.
All right.
Most people from the public are coming to the government center to get their passport renewed, marriage license, anything like that.
Earlier, we mentioned about the design of the building.
Yep.
While there's planning and everything, you didn't have to start from scratch or invent the wheel when it
Right.
comes to designing a government center, correct?
Correct.
What other counties did you look at?
We ended up going to a couple of Minnesota. We went to Washington County, which is fairly new in Stillwater.
And I've been there, and this definitely has the feel of Washington County.
Yep. Yeah, no, our architects actually helped with Washington County, so they kind of brought some of those elements over here,
Okay.
which we really like.
Sure.
So,
All right, so we've completed the tour of the more public-facing building,
Yep.
off departments on the main floor of the building. And I was curious, like, why certain offices are in the location they are.
so we did a charrettes meeting with each department head. That helped us, each department, kind of get some input on where they're located and how public visited them. So each department came to a large meeting. We had a board laid out, and county clerk said, I think I would fit best here because I'm right next to the entrance, and a lot of people come to visit me. And they said, well, Register of Deeds or treasurer needs to be close to me because someone visiting county clerk might need to go to Register of Deeds and do some other kind of paperwork. So that's kind of how it came to that.
So it was kind of a group process.
Yep.
There wasn't any big dispute the county board had to decide?
No big disputes in that process.
All right, good. Well, now that we've got the public face, let's go upstairs and check out some of the more internal admin part, all right?
Perfect.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so we're coming up to floor number 2 of the new addition. And these are the less public-facing aspect to the building because you've got information technology, IT, you've got HR and finance.
Yep.
And they basically run the internal workings for the county.
Yep, for all 700 employees or so. These are the people that work with the county employees.
And out of that 700, about how many are housed in this government center?
Just over 300 here in the
Okay.
government center. And that number really hasn't changed with the addition. We were just really tight on space in the old building.
Okay. So again, these are functions that are more internal. Public is not necessarily welcome there, but there are conference rooms. And this is what we wanted to show you on this floor.
Yep.
Talk a little bit, these conference rooms, what's the total number of conference rooms now in this government center when construction is complete?
When construction's complete, it'll be about 40 conference rooms in total. In the south addition alone, there's 25.
So, and this is considered the south edition?
Yep, this
where
is
we're-
the south addition, yep.
And I noticed that this one is named North Hudson,
Yep,
and it's conjoined with the Hudson one.
yep,
And you've got it laid out a little bit geographically, is that right? On the
correct.
naming?
Yep, I mean, Hudson's south of North Hudson, so that's how we did this conference room. And our easternmost conference room is Glenwood City here at the government center, and that's the easternmost city within the county.
And just across from the staircase
Is-
is Roberts, which
Correct.
is east of Hudson and North Hudson.
Correct, yep.
So makes sense. Now, coming in here, this is what the conference room looks like.
Yep.
Looks like a training center, is that right?
Yeah, a big training room, so we can bring other counties or other municipalities in, and we can have training here instead of having to drive somewhere else.
Doing a quick count, it looks like there's about room for 70, 75 people in here.
Correct, yep.
And so you got multiple screens, and is there a wall that can come down so you can?
Right, it's a
divide?
divisible room, almost like Hudson and North Hudson. They're together, but they're apart, right?
Right.
So,
All right, very good. And again, it's all hooked up with technology, so people can. It's not just one screen.
Correct.
And, you can have multiple media going at once.
You can have multiple things going on in this room at once.
All right, so that talks about the upstairs, which more conference rooms, like you said. There's 25 here in the South Addition.
Yep.
And we have the atrium.
Yep. Back to the atrium space.
Okay, very good. So we want to check out the Sheriff's Department yet.
Yep.
We're not going to go to the courthouse because that's not done yet, right?
Right. We just started demo down there on the old first floor. So we're about another year, or May of 25 we'll be done with first floor, and then we'll come up to second floor and renovate that until about October of 25.
Okay. So either May or October we'll be seeing you again.
Most likely, yeah.
On that side.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's go down and check out Sheriff's Department.
Perfect.
So, Kris, we are now downstairs. This is the public entrance area to the new Sheriff's Department.
Yep.
And this was on this level before, but obviously a much nicer entrance for the public to see. Now, we just left the atrium entrance upstairs, which we featured, and that is, again, also brand new, completely replaces the old one. Is that right?
That is correct, yep. That will be everyone's entrance at the all said and done, when this project's all said and done, I guess.
So the old one doesn't get reopened. What happens to that?
That turns into an office space, just an open cubicle area.
All right. Now, so if people have to come into the Sheriff's Department, this is where they would go.
This is where they'd come. They wouldn't come to the main parking lot out front on the east side. They'd come to the west parking lot down below.
All right. So a completely new parking area, and this is the same level that people that have to visit jail,
Yep.
they would get to the jail. The jail hasn't changed.
Right, that jail entrance hasn't changed. It's still where it is.
It's just a longer walk to get there because
Yep.
this used to be parking right up to here where we're standing.
Correct, yes.
Okay. So the Sheriff's Department, obviously there's more secure entrance in the back. That's for internal use only, but
Yep.
this would be where public
This
would file reports or maybe make contact with law enforcement officers, and then
Yep.
they'd have interview rooms.
Yep,
that they
conference
could
room's right off the door, or right off the lobby here for them.
Excellent. And so we talked about the fact that this is a law enforcement space. We've got a memorial that's just getting started.
Yep.
When will that get completed?
About May of 25, next May.
All right. And so when we are coming back to do our tour of the judicial half of the courthouse, of the government center,
Yep.
then we'll be able to maybe check out that.
You'll be able to walk through that space as well, yeah.
All right. So now we've had a chance to see the admin side to the building as well as the Sheriff's Department.
Yep.
About how many square foot were added to the government center with this project?
So we were at 168,000 square feet, including the jail before. We added about 142,000 square feet. So we almost doubled the size of our building. So we're right around 308,000 square feet right now.
And we didn't talk about it off camera, but do you have any idea what the old courthouse and jail that was downtown Hudson was?
Oh, I
But
don't.
it was, I remember
Yeah.
it because it was before 1992,
Yep.
but it was a fraction of that number.
Yep.
So how far, we mentioned the referendum,
Yep.
or not the referendum, but the bonding issue was about 75 million. How are we doing on the budget?
We're tracking very well on the budget. We have, at this point, we have no reason to believe we're going to be going over budget.
Actually, that's great. So
Yep.
we're staying on time and on budget?
Absolutely.
That's what we want. And speaking of time, again, we're going to be looking to have the completion of the project when?
October of 25, fully complete.
All right. So, well, Kris, I look forward to seeing you in October of 25, and we'll do the tour of the courtrooms, and we'll be able to check out the new law enforcement memorial.
I look forward to it.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching another segment of Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Jamie Johnson. Keep watching.